Many people think that Christianity is nothing more than wishful thinking, that there's really no good reason to think that Christianity is true. But is this really the case? I'm joined today by Dr. Gavin Ortlund, who is a Christian scholar and a pastor, to help answer that particular charge. Gavin, in a previous episode, we were talking about 4 questions that you like to raise, that as we answer those questions, it points to the truth of Christianity. And one of those questions is, could everything that we see around us happen by chance? How do you think that points to the reality of the Christian faith?
Yeah. Well, I think about the testimony of Whittaker Chambers, who was a communist spy who eventually became a Christian. And he tells the story of sitting at the breakfast table with his daughter, his young daughter, and he noticed her ears. And he said the thought came into his mind, even though it was an unwanted thought and he was an atheist, could those really have come about by accident? They seem so intricately designed and almost like a work of art, the way they function. And he said it was an unwanted thought and I pushed it away because I knew that design presupposes designer, and he didn't want to go there. But I think that'd be one sort of anecdote that gets into the intuition that I think all of us can relate to, of looking at the incredible order of our world, whether it be just the constants that we see that make life possible, like the gravitational constant or the speed of light, or the incredible intricate design in the animal kingdom. Could this all have come about by accident? Is that plausible? The old analogy of the watchmaker analogy that William Paley used, I think still has a kind of forcefulness to it. If you're walking through the woods and you find a watch on the ground, no one thinks, oh, well, this just came about by accident, because unintelligent things don't just organize themselves. It presupposes somebody intelligent must have made this watch. And if you have things in the natural order that are like that, it raises the question, where did this come from? And I think that's a powerful intuition in our hearts. Now, I know a lot of, modern evolutionists would say that natural selection is the scalpel that slices off this whole argument. And they would say that the appearance of design is just there because it helped our ancestors survive. And I was really helped by reading through Tim Keller's book, The Reason for God, and there's a section of that book that I will never forget reading because it really marked me and helped me, where the title of it is just, The Clue Killer is Actually a Clue. And he basically says, if evolutionary theory slices off our certainty about perception of design, then should it not also slice off our certainty about evolution and everything we believe? Let's not be inconsistent in how we apply that argument. And so as I look at things, it kind of helps me to boil it down to a which is more plausible kind of question. Is it more plausible that the world came about randomly, not by the design or purpose of any cause beyond the universe, or that there is order and purpose and design? And I think about what it would entail if it was all just a big accident. And that would mean that love and reason are sort of accidental. There's a time at which they didn't exist. There will be a time at which they don't exist. And they could have been other. They could have not existed. Literature, art, the Niagara Falls, music, everything that communicates not just beauty and order, but a sense of transcendence to us, ultimately is kind of illusory and telling us a false tale in a way. The sense of transcendence we feel when we listen to a beautiful strain of music is not a clue of anything deeper. It's just sort of random. On the other hand, if you have a Christian perspective where you believe in a Trinitarian God, one of the ways that Christians throughout church history have spoken of the Trinity is in terms of love and reason. The second member has been spoken of in terms not dissimilar to reason, and the third member of the Trinity in terms not dissimilar to love. It's beautiful to me to think that when I experience love or when I engage in reason, far from just accidental random things that came about because they helped animals survive, these are actually clues to the meaning of reality, I'm tapping into something at the core of reality. That is a more satisfying view to me, existentially and intellectually. And I think it's one testimony to the truth of the Christian faith.